Hello friends, welcome back. I am Vivekanandan. Very recently I got to read this one particular statement which was very much interesting for me, and that was get high on life and not on alcohol. And when I read the explanation for that particular statement, it went like life is actually beautiful, and to make life be much more beautiful, it is not necessary that we rely on alcohol and other stuff. We can actually rely on life itself, because life itself has so many things to offer. Enjoy all those things. And when I was just probing that further, one thing again which struck my mind was to make your life much more beautiful, it is very, very essential that you take control of your mind. Your mind should be in control. Your mind should be in your own hands. That was one statement which very much intrigued me, and because that is one thing which we can practically feel it. Whenever our mind is in our control, we are at peace, we are very much happy, and so on. So I was able to relate with that particular statement. And when I was doing my further own research by hearing a lot of things, reading a lot of things, and speaking with other people, I got to know there are six very easy or a simple or a very essential steps to take control of our mind. And what are those? Let me share all those things with you now. To start with, the number one thing people suggest to take control of your mind or to keep your mind happy is exercise. And that exercise can be in any form, whether it can be in the form of walking or jogging or yoga, pilates, or hitting the gym, or whatever the form may be. We all hear about doing exercise is only good for our physical health, because while exercise we secrete a lot of hormones like testosterone, insulin, and so on. But what happens is there are other hormones which are getting secreted, like cortisol, endorphins, and so on. And the duty of these hormones is actually to keep us much more happier. In fact, to reduce the stress levels, it seems. So the point over here is it is whenever we do any kind of exercise, what happens is these kind of hormones, in fact it is called as happiness hormones, those things also secrete, which is never addictive, and it always gives us a peace of mind, stability, and helps us in a lot of other ways. So the first thing is all about exercise. And before going into the second thing, let me ask you another question. How many of you have felt your breath whenever you are in different states of mind or different states of mood? For example, it is said that whenever you are angry, or whenever you are very sad, or whenever you are extremely happy, what happens is the breathing pattern, the rhythm, that particular rhythm and pattern is totally different for different moods. For example, sometimes the breathing pattern, the inhaling and exhaling process is very much fast, and for some time it is very much slow, and for sometimes it is in a medium speed, or it is something stable. The point over here is if you can take control of your breathing, it actually it is understood that you can actually take control of your mind. But how do you take control of your breathing? It is only with something called as breathing exercises, or you call it as pranayama, something which originated in this particular land. So whenever you are regularly practicing breathing exercises, what happens is our breath is in our own control, and because of that, external circumstances doesn't affect us much. We do not react, but we respond accordingly to those situations. So the second most important thing to be done is it is all about breathing exercises regularly. And the third thing is, which is very one of my favorites in these 6 habits, which is following arts. And what do you mean by that? Let me give you an example. One of my neighbor, she was doing her PhD, and what happened is that project was something very, very close to her heart. And what actually happened was, due to some unexpected circumstances or reasons, she could not pursue her PhD further. It actually got stopped, and she had invested a lot of effort in that particular project, and it was very, very dear to her heart. So because of this unexpected scenario in her her life, what happened is fell into this depression mode. She became very, very frustrated, and in fact got very much depressed. And when she seeked help, she actually visited a psychologist, and during their counseling sessions, they had asked her, what is your favorite hobby? What are the kind of arts do you follow? Whether you hear music or you follow dance, or what do you do? And her answer was, I used to draw a lot during my younger days and all. I used to draw a lot. And the psychologist actually became very happy and suggested her, please start following that old hobby or that particular art form which you were doing it in your young years. Do it again. And she had replied that she has totally lost touch of drawing and crafts, and she cannot draw anything properly. And the psychologist again told her, forget about it, just take a paper, buy some oil painting or crayons or something, and just start drawing. Do not worry about the final output. And she took that very seriously. In fact, that was very thought itself had made her very happy, and she started to do it very, very vigorously. Bought some oil painting, and forgetting the final output, she used to draw a lot, some using various colors. And what had actually happened is her depression levels actually came down. And looking into that, her happiness, her family members also supported her. They also joined with her, drawing a lot of things. And finally she was able to come out of her difficult times, hard times. The point is, it is not just about drawing alone. It is any kind of an art form, whether it can be singing, hearing some very good music, or any other sports activities. So during these corona times and this complete lockdown, I'm constantly hearing the sound of carom coins from my neighbor's house and all. It actually makes me happy, because it's been several years since I played a carom. So just hearing that sound itself makes me happy. And the last few days I have started playing chess again, and that actually makes me happy now. But point is, various kind of these forms will actually help you. In fact, it is said that you can also watch movies too, but the movies need to be very good movies. You cannot watch trash movies, then your mind also becomes an entire trash. So it is completely dependent on you following any arts forms. So that is something prescribed, which makes you happy and reduces your stress levels. And the fourth one is speaking to your neighbors. And what do you mean by that? And how many of you observed this? So previously, before 1990s and all, in everybody's house, there used to be a big place for balcony, where in the balcony, concrete steps being laid out, where people come out and sit before in their homes, looking into the streets and speaking with their neighbors. But after 1990s, what has actually happened is our entire architecture has become very closed, and the biggest reason which is attributed to this kind of a closed architecture is the electronic gadgets. The first, it all started with the television, and in that television so many channels used to come. And then what happened was computers, personal computers, then laptops, then the advent of internet, and now like everybody knows that it is all about mobile phones and the supplementary apps which is coming inside. The point I'm trying to say over here is people do not speak with people these days. It seems it has actually come down drastically. We don't speak with our relatives or neighbors or with our parents like we used to do several years before. But the scientific fact over here is, man is a social animal. He has lived in groups for so many thousand years. Yes, the joint family system is broken, but at least that is because of that is something for some other reason we have to accept, because the kind of jobs we do is totally changed. But what is stopping us from taking the phone and speaking with our parents back home, or with our relatives, or with our neighbors, or with our friends? Just speaking with others itself actually brings us a lot of happiness, it seems, because man lived in groups and is still a social animal. He has a lot of social instincts. He wanted to mingle with people, and doing that actually helps us a lot. And the next important thing is speaking with our own selves. Just by hearing it, people will laugh at us, whether are you mad or have you gone berserk or something like that. But the kind of speaking with yourself is more often on an introspection. And for example, just spend 5 to 10 minutes alone, sitting alone, or walking alone, or closing your eyes alone, and speak with yourself. Ask yourself a variety of kind of questions. For example, if you're doing a project and the expected result, if it is getting delayed, ask yourself some questions like, are you giving enough hard work to achieve the project, or if not, is your hard work going in a right way? Or if you are fighting with your family members, go alone, ask yourself a question, is your reaction to that particular family member, is it correct, or you should have pardoned them? What is going to be, what should have been the right response? Ask yourself these questions, speak with yourselves, and that actually will give you lots and lots of clarity. But the biggest problem is we stay inside within the same thing, and then what happens is we just keep on reacting and don't know what is happening. So the fifth important thing is speak with yourselves. And one more thing before I finish, the last and the very important thing, and that is, which everybody knows this already, which is meditation. So whether you're going to follow a Zen meditation or a prayer form of meditation, that is completely dependent upon you. But what is the biggest use of meditation? So the biggest use of meditation is it actually brings a lot of awareness, self-awareness. It increases our consciousness. Many times you can hear people in problems, whether it could have been us also. So we are totally lost over here. So the biggest point over here is meditation actually brings you a big level of awareness and self-consciousness, and in fact, in one way you can call it as it increases your level of emotional intelligence, in other words EQ. And one more thing is do not forget to speak with yourselves also. And because one quote associated with this, if you do not speak with yourself every day, you might miss speaking with the most beautiful person in your life. So these are the 6 important steps to take control of your mind and thereby make your life much more beautiful. So if there are any other steps which you follow, please do mention that in the comment section. And if you are already following any of these steps, please mention your experiences also in the comment section. And thanks for watching this video. Have a good day.